Welcome to another episode of the Donny Donata podcast. I'm your host, Donny Donata. Welcome aboard. We're going to open up this episode, as is tradition, with a song. Here it goes. Ready? I think we've opened up every episode with a song, right? Oh well, don't care. Here's the song. I fucked a Chinese spy under Best Buy. I looked her in the eye as she sucked me off. I would give up all the information of my country for some consummation with a Chinese spy. There's more to the song. Call me Eric Swalwell. He actually did fuck a Chinese spy. He's like U.S. Senator or something. She can suck all the information right out of my cock. How does the rest of it go? Something like, I would give up my country's security for a taste of that Chinese pussy. Crazy, right? I love Chinese spies. Best bang around. They're the best bang around, them Chinese. It's actually pretty crazy. That guy, Eric Swalwell, who was in the song there, he actually did bang a Chinese spy, and he's still working in the Senate, I'm pretty sure. Pretty fucking funny. I said last episode I was going to share the story of how I lost my V card, so why don't we do that? I'm going to preface the story by saying I grew up in like an Italian, mainly Italian community. I'm not myself, I'm Italian, of course. Donny Donata sounds very Italian, right? So I grew up around Italians, and I'm going to say this. I lost my V card at the ripe old age of 12 years old. To some of you, that might seem very young, but actually I felt like a late bloomer, seeing that most of my friends and all the kids in my neighborhood and community, they were losing their V card around 10 and 11 already. So I'm like a year or two late. And that might seem fucking crazy, but you have to understand something. In the Italian culture, the kids start like arguing with the adults by the time they're 4 and 5. And you're kind of expected to act as if you're an adult as a young child, you know? So you get brought into the fold pretty early. Like the adults treat the kids like adults. That there's no taboo around drinking. Like the kids are allowed to drink, but I think it's a lot to do with like the adults are just fucking off the wall as well. They're just, anything goes. But it's mainly because there's no taboos. Like you're allowed to talk about sex and drinking and whatever the fuck you want at any age. You're allowed to swear. It's fantastic. So you mature pretty quick, and that's why kids be fucking like early in the Italian community. So I'm at the ripe old age of 12. I'm feeling like I'm a late bloomer until this happened. I think I would have fucked this girl anyway, but thankfully there was a situation that occurred that kind of made it necessary for it to happen, and thank God, because it was anyhow. So on my hockey team, there's this one guy, and his sister was pretty hot. And everybody on my hockey team wanted to fuck this guy's sister. Maybe even him. But anyhow, I had my main rival on the team. And me and him, we went to like war during tryouts to make the team. We were just like hammering each other, hitting. We almost got into fights. Felt like we were fighting for the top position on the team as a defenseman. And he was particularly interested in this guy's sister. He would talk about her all the time. He was like posting shit online about her. He was like saying stuff in the huddle before we start the game. He would like make cheers about her. He was just obsessed with her. Fucking loser. But me and her, we seemed to have like a pretty decent relationship. Like I was pretty cordial to her, and like I'm a gentleman, of course, and so I was treating her nicely, and also I was a bit more shy, so like I just was not the one making chants about this girl. I was pretty quiet on the fact that I wanted to fuck her. He was very loud about the fact that he wanted to fuck her, and she was getting annoyed with him, quite honestly. She started catching wind about it from her brother and then from everybody else, and everybody knew because this guy would just not shut the fuck up. And this guy was my arch nemesis, and she found that out. Lucky for me. So, one day I'm on my computer at home, and I get an MSN message that reads, "Can you come over?" from this girl. I go, what could this mean? Is she just asking me to come over and there's going to be other people there? Is she saying you want me to fuck her, or what's going on? I said, yeah, I can come over. When do you want me to come? And she says, right now. I go, holy shit, right now. I go, how can I make this happen? And I had the balls. I said, how come? She goes, my parents aren't home. I go, fuck. She definitely wants me to fuck her. And so my parents would not approve of me going over to her house. And she lived like probably a 10-minute drive, which was like then like a 25-minute bike ride to her house. And maybe even like half an hour it'd take to get there on bike. And that's what I decided to do. There's just like no way I'm going to be able to ask my parents for a ride over there. There's even no way that they would allow me to go there in the first place. So I just said that I was going over to my friend's house, who was only a couple doors down. But I passed his door so fucking fast on my bike, just blazing down the street to get to her house as fast as I can. Boner, straight up in my shorts as I'm riding my bike over to her house. I couldn't get there fast enough, but still took me like half an hour. I'm pretty sure I had a boner like the entire way. I just knew that it was time. Like, this is happening. Show up to her house, knock on the door. Now I am so erect. Like, I could fantasize about this and come so fast, even to this day. Knock on her door. She comes to the door. She's just wearing like a skin-tight tank top and panties. Now I really know I'm fucking in. I come through the door. She says, hi. I go, hey, how you doing? She's like, good. Come on the couch. I'm like, fuck. I'm like bursting through my shorts. She can clearly see I have a fucking boner. I don't even care. I'm like, I'm just owning it. Of course, at 12 years old, I'm like 3.5 inch boner, so it's not super obvious, but obvious enough. Maybe 4 inches. I don't know. I gotta give. Fuck. Yeah, forget I said 3.5. I definitely had a 4-inch cock at 12. 4-inch hard one. So I come over to the couch, and she kind of sits down, like trying to be like sexy, and I know where this is going. I just confidently just take my shirt off. And I was in decent shape, so I was trying to like flex and shit as I'm taking my shirt off. And she kind of goes like that, like she knows this is fucking happening. And I kind of come over and try to like awkwardly give her a kiss, but like I don't know how to do this. She's sitting on the couch and I'm standing up, and like really awkwardly, and we finally find each other's faces and kiss. And then like I kind of like push her down on the bed and start humping and kissing. And I came while I'm doing that. Cock not even out of the pads, already coming. But this was good because then I knew that I was going to be able to like start pumping safely because I didn't have a condom. So I as I'm taking my pants off, I'm kind of like wiping off my tip to keep all the cum in my pants. And I don't know if she noticed or not, but I didn't fucking care. I just whip off my pants now, whip off her panties. And the first time I put my dick inside of a vagina. Wow. I had an idea, of course, of what it was going to be like. But when it actually happened, it felt way different. I was almost a little bit disappointed. Like, this is it? First, I thought I put it in her asshole, too. I was like, whoa, well, hold on. It's down that far? Oh, her vagina hole's down that far. Okay. I was like, okay, I'm in the vagina. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I didn't know about her hymen or anything. I wasn't even worried. I just like once I knew I was in, I just like shoved it all in, all the way to the root. Like, she's like, I'm like, is it okay? Is that all right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a fucking vagina. And then the warmth hits your cock. And it's wet and warm. And you're like, and I just start fucking pumping. And I did pretty good. I was able to pump probably for like another like 5 minutes. And she was like, she was a champ. She never even said it hurt or anything. And then I was pumping for like 5 minutes and I had to come again. I was an okay pumper. But at the end of that 5 minutes, I pulled out to come, of course. And then I realized there's like blood pouring down her ass cheeks. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, oh yeah, that's, yeah. You popped my cherry. I'm like, what? What's that? What I mean popped a cherry? She's like, yeah, my hymen. That's probably broke it. I'm like, what? And since she had to explain what a hymen was to me after I just fucked her brains out for 5 minutes. I'm like, it's so funny. Anyhow, that's kind of the story. And then I tried to bang her again, and she was kind of done, and I was kind of done, and she's like, nice. I'll go tell your arch nemesis about this. And he was not happy. But actually, he stopped talking about her after that. So I was thankful that she kind of did it vengefully against him, but I hope that she was more that she genuinely wanted to fuck me. It was fun. It was very fun. I liked it. Anyhow, that's my V-card story. I don't know how much you enjoyed it, but I enjoyed telling it. Brought me back. Another order of business today is I was going to tell you about a dream I had last night. Last night, I dreamt that I was hanging out with Travis Kelce, the star tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs. Me and Travis Kelce were having beers and just running around the neighborhood in my dream. It was pretty cool. But the main part of the dream that I remember was that we went to a cafe and we were going to get ham and croissant sandwiches. And lo and behold, as Travis is ordering the ham and croissant sandwiches, I noticed that someone's standing off to the side waiting for their ham and croissant sandwich. And lo and behold, guess who? It's Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber was there waiting for hers. And I'm there with Travis Kelce. I'm like, oh, sweet. So I went over to Hailey Bieber and I went, hey, I'm hanging out with Taylor Swift's boyfriend. She's like, wow, that's a weird flex. Why are you like bragging about that? And I was like, oh, it's just all I have going on right now. All I have going for me, which is not true. But I need an excuse for why I'm flexing on Hailey Bieber that I'm hanging out with Travis Kelce. But yeah, it was pretty interesting having star-studded dreams, mainly because I'm in them. But yeah, with Travis Kelce and Hailey Bieber. And I guess Taylor Swift was there in spirit, in her witch-like ghostly spirit. She is everywhere. Fucking Taylor Swift. But Hailey Bieber, good God, she's hot. Kind of weird looking in some aspects, but good Lord, would I fuck her. I love Hailey Bieber. Good for Justin. I wanted to bring up about how I think with the new Neuralink coming out, how it's really becoming a possibility to like enter into a new dimension. How like even when you do like VR or even just play video games on your screen, you really get transported to another dimension. And with like technology like Neuralink, you could really feel as if you're living a whole other life, even though it's you living in this dimension. You can feel as if you're living in a whole entire other dimension. And that's why like with reincarnation, simulation theory, it seems as if it 100% could be. And it makes so much sense because now that I'm getting older, when I experience the things in life that I feel like are the peak of existence, I have these thoughts where I'm like, oh, but it's just this. And it kind of steals the thunder and the profound feeling that I used to get when I was younger. Like when I would go to like a sporting event and I would walk in and there would be the music thumping, the people and the energy, and everything, I would just feel like, fuck, this is like the peak of existence. And it was because I was young and naive, and maybe I was even right to feel like that. But now when I go, I still love it. I still enjoy it. But I have these fucking thoughts that I hate when I go. And like I walk in and I'm like, this is the peak of existence. And I'm like, But it's just humanity and people and a building and sounds. And I don't like that I have those kinds of thoughts. But it's the reality that, fuck, I'm just never going to enjoy stuff as much as I did when I was younger. And so it makes so much sense that you would want to reincarnate and be able to live life again anew as a naive person. It makes so much sense why you would do that. So maybe I have done that, and I'm in this. I've been living lives over and over and over again. But there comes like a lot of problems with that theory, because there has to be like an original me somewhere, that if that original me ever got turned off, right, then all the other me's and all the other dimensions would as well, right? I don't know. Who knows? I don't really give a fuck either way right now, because I can't prove it one way or the other. When I start thinking about it, it's fucking mind-blowing. It's really fun. But when I talk to like babies, or observe them and talk to them, they seem like they know what the fuck they're doing. And of course you could explain that by it's just, they're brain developing. Of course they know what, pattern recognition and whatnot. Now they're able to live. But it seems like they got life figured out. Like I know, like this 2-year-old I know, he just like, he can be like, yeah, man, I go to the store, I get candy, and that's life, man. Sounds like he's Jamaican. And I'm a 2-year-old baby, I go and smoke the weed, man. Oh yeah, man. That sounds more Indian. But it seems like he's fucking done it before. Like life makes sense to him. I'm like, fuck, you've been around for half a presidential term. How does life make sense to you already? He's like, fuck you, dude. I know what life is all about, man. That's what this 2-year-old sounds like. And it's like, I've been around 10 times as fucking long as you, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. How do you do? But I think it's because he's reincarnated. I think he used to be a Jamaican gangster, 100%. That's what he used to be. And now he's a little baby, a little white baby running around. People talk about red flags. Like in the X and red flags. I hate this kind of shit. But when anyone ever asks me, like, what are your red flags in a girl? I go, white male. And I get I can't go wrong with saying that, because if it's a trans chick, a guy who's transitioned to a woman, right? Not really a woman. That's my opinion, but if he is technically a white male, right? That's not a good. I don't like that in a woman if she's actually a white male, and also white males really are not that popular in the woke community. So I'm getting the best of both worlds, right? I say I don't like white males, and I don't want a trans person. I'm winning. I'm winning the left and the right when I say that. White male, not good, even though I'm a white male myself, right? But I gotta say it more like fucking gay. White male, not good. Speaking of the left and right, abortion. Let's talk about abortion. Good Lord. Let's get deep into the weeds.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about abortion. And about how the Chinese Communist Party is turning all the babies into fucking retard
mutants.
The Chinese are popping out mutant retards across the nation.
That's what Alex Jones is talking about. Go look it up. It's crazy. But when it comes to abortion, I don't take a stance either way, because both are right. Let me explain. So, say someone is pregnant and they don't want to have the baby, right? you're going to put that person, like, say they're in a terrible financial situation, they're in a terrible situation, like they just are not mentally equipped to be able to be a mother or whatever, right? The right wing view would say that you have to give birth to that baby anyway and then put it up for adoption. Because if you abort that baby, you are committing murder. That's the right wing view. Left wing view is, no, you can go ahead and kill that baby because that baby is just a lump of flesh, and then you can go about your life hassle-free, right? That's the left wing view. Your body, your choice. The right wing view, you're committing murder if you kill that baby. Both are fucking true. Both are true. It's totally the mother's choice what she wants to do with that baby. If she wants to fucking kill it, she totally can. And apparently there is no recourse in law for doing so. You can, in most states, you can kill the baby, within a 24-hour period after it comes out of the womb, and you're still going scot-free, no murder charge. Even though if you had that baby, say, the day before you actually had it, and then someone else came up and knifed that baby, they would go to jail for the rest of their life. But you, as the consenting mother, can have that baby knifed same day pretty well of its existence, right? Whether in the womb or out of the womb, it's still the same day of its existence. You can knife that baby yourself. You can pull the fucking scalpel from the doctor, knife your baby to death and say, I didn't want it. And they go, oh, cool. All right, throw it on the pile. Nice. That's literally the attitude they have towards it too. Maybe, I don't know. But it's fucking crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. And I don't know what the right answer is, because I generally do feel bad for people. And I mean, at what point do you say that a person is a person? Of course, the right-wing view is at conception. The moment that the sperm meets the egg, that is a human being. And you know what? There's some sense to that. I can be like, okay, that makes sense. For sure. Fine. We'll call that the line. And if you cross that line, if you destroy that amalgamation of cells and atoms after the point of that, then that's murder. Fine. Sure. But you're going to throw someone into jail forever if, they accidentally do that. You're going to, charge a mother with manslaughter if she accidentally, falls down and has a miscarriage, right? No, we're not going to do that. And you could also make the argument, all the sperm in my body, right? Are those are potential humans, right? Every single sperm I've had, which I did the calculation, I probably jerked off, I should get myself like a medal. But are all those were all potential humans that when I lost my V card, I could have created a person, right? When I came all over her abdomen there and in my shorts, those could have been people, but they weren't. I don't fucking know. I just feel bad. I feel bad, of course, when a baby gets aborted because there's so much potential. But how life works is so fucking, random and crazy. And just imagine all the babies that weren't aborted and all the people who were killed prematurely, if they had all lived and had more children, and every baby that wasn't aborted lived, how much more population we would have on Earth. It'd be fucking crazy. So all these people who believe that the world elites are trying to keep the population down, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that they would support abortion, But I'm not getting into conspiracy theory shit. That would take too much. But I guess what my main point is that the left and right both have valid points, and I support both. You know what? And I like the fact that they go at each other's throats. But they do fucking get me. It fucking annoy me. Because the people who are on the far right and the far left are so similar. They would make best friends if they could just go over their political differences. Because they're very, very, very much the same. One person has pink hair and says, fucking kill your baby. The other one wears a tie and says, you shall not murder is the 6th commandment. Right? But they both have the same type of passion, right? One goes, kill it! One says, save it! Right? Same thing. They're making the same war cries, just with different words. So if they could get over that, they'd make the best fucking friends, and that's why they fucking annoy me sometimes. Understand, I'm sounding very annoying right now, imitating them, but I'm imitating them. Suck a cock. Israel and Gaza, right? Far left, supporting Gaza. I totally get it. Support the little guy. That's what you want to do, right? But you don't support the fetus. Anyhow, the right wing, Israel is a democratic nation who supports the rights and freedoms of people, and they want, goodness and prosperity and the pursuit of happiness for all. So why are we not, supporting them? When you go into a war, you have to do terrible things. Sometimes you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. You got to kill a few, innocent civilians in order to take over an area. And fucking Gaza is using people as human shields. And so I say, Israel, go ahead. No, I don't take any sides. But I believe Israel's in the right. I'm not taking any sides, but Israel is correct in what they're doing. I wanted to play, here, let's see if I can find it. I wanted to play a thing by Douglas Murray. I just started listening to Douglas Murray, and he's part of that intellectual dark web type of group with Jordan Peterson, and they're just so far right, but yet pretend that they're centrist. They fucking annoy me sometimes, but they actually have great points too. So anyhow, this was a great point by Douglas Murray, and he was talking to Piers Morgan. I have it saved here. I think I can get it up, and he made a great point about Gaza, and in particular, the Muslims. Muslims are fucking terrible people. Just listen.
He came from the other direction, so...
He's in Israel talking.
We're okay.
Are you okay?
Let's just... Yeah, it's fine.
Missile almost hit him.
It was a rocket coming, looked like it was just going to land on us here.
Which way was that rocket coming from? Is it coming from Gaza or from Israel?
Yes, it seems to be coming from Gaza, so... Yeah, it's fine. It's okay, it's been happening all day. Let me just finish this point I made.
Before we go on, Douglas, Atman, how does that make you? How does that make you feel? What just happened?
Pierre.
I mean, it's I'm a little used to it. I was in Ukraine last year and was in Kherson and Odessa and Mykolaiv, and when the Russians were shelling it, so I'm a little used to it. But just if I can just finish this point, there's a lot of banging going on, but anyway, we'll keep going.
Well, if you need to stop, Douglas, we understand.
No, don't worry. If we need to stop, I'll run to the shelter, I assure you. The thing that struck me, Piers, about seeing the 7th of October footage was that even the Nazis were actually ashamed of what they did. SS battalions who spent their days shooting Jews in the back of the head and pushing them into trenches had to get very, very drunk in the evening to forget what they had done. Nazi high command famously had to sort of get around the problem of soldier morale because the soldiers knew this wasn't exactly what their lives were meant to look like either. I tell you one very big difference. If you look at the footage, the raw footage, and I really hope people don't on a wider scale have to view what I viewed the other day, if they see it, they will see something that is at least as barbaric as what the Nazis did. But here's the difference. They did it with glee. They were deeply proud. You see people trying to, taking the head off a young Israeli man with a shovel and then calling their parents back in Gaza and telling them, Father, I've killed 10 Jews with my own hands. Get mother on the phone. I want to tell her how great a job her son has done. I come back to this thing. I'm not exaggerating this. It's very, very interesting, and people need to realize you had this situation with the Nazis, where they also were a genocidal anti-Semitic organization, but they tried to cover their crimes up. Hamas are actually proud of them. And they've said they will do them until the whole world is clear of Jews. Yeah. So I suggest we take that seriously, and I think that Israel is taking it seriously. I hope they continue to take it seriously, but I think the world should take it seriously, and that includes Britain. And when I hear British journalists, British commentators, and British politicians lecturing the Israelis on what they should do, I think, I'm sorry, this shows a failing in our country. It shows that we in Britain cannot enforce our laws. We don't even enforce our borders in Britain. It's us that is the weak link in the international security chain on this. Not.
That's a good point. Good fucking points. And you know what? I think the majority of the world, or I don't know. I would, well, not the Muslim world, of course, but the majority of like Western people, they do support Israel. They would, of course, say like, oh, we got to take care of the civilians. Everyone obviously fucking wants no innocent lives to be taken, but the majority of people do support Israel. However, and the younger people, it's probably split down the middle just because they don't understand how fucking horrible Muslims are. Like radical Muslims. People who are Muslim in name only and don't really believe the Quran letter by letter, those people are just fine because they're not Muslims in my eyes, right? But true Muslims, true extreme Muslims are a fucking threat to humanity. And if you don't believe me, you don't know the fucking Quran. You don't know what Muslims are capable of. Oh, fuck. I fucking hate the Muslims. Come at me, by the way. Come fucking find me. Let's fight to the fucking death, fucking Muslims. I'll take you on, every single fucking one of you. I'll come kill you all. Fuck you. Sorry. Anyhow, that was awfully put in. But I want to say that because young people, you gotta wake up. It's like split down the middle, apparently, of young people supporting Israel or supporting Hamas, right? They literally, so many of these, like if you go on Twitter and you go to like hashtag ceasefire now in Gaza, there are so many people that are supporting. I don't care if it's, 10% of the population is supporting the Palestinians, right? And not supporting in a way that like, I don't want civilians to die. Obviously, all, rational people are saying, I don't want civilians to die. Of course not. But literally, there are a great number of people who are like supporting Hamas pretty well. And I fucking saw the thing where like it's like queers for Gaza, right? They're supporting them. And of course, it's because, the queer and gay people, they feel like they're the smaller number, they're the little guy, and they've been suppressed. And so they look at the Palestinians as the little guy who have been repressed as well. And so we share the same burden and we're going to bear it with you. But they don't understand is that if they were in fucking Gaza, they would be killed in the street. And you're supporting them, right? And it might sound a little harsh, because you're saying, hey, it's totally okay to support the Palestinians in Gaza. However, listen to this other point by Douglas. I got queued up. Here it is.
Security community. As for the actual marches, look, I'm afraid that the rules on this are very, very clear. You are not allowed to glorify terror or call for terror on the streets of Britain. And that existed before the 2006 Terrorism Act banned glorification, and it certainly exists now. If you stand on the streets of London calling for jihad, you are calling for terror, and that is actually a place where free speech is at its limit and is no longer permissible. It's the same with, for instance, calls for intifada on the London tubes. Remember, we had a touch of intifada on the London tubes a few years ago. So again, calling for intifada is something that you're not allowed to do in the UK.
Okay, but Douglas, let me ask you this.
You're not allowed to, let me finish one other case. You're not allowed to stand on the streets of London and call for the murder of Jews or any other minority.
No.
And yet people have been getting away with this Saturday after Saturday. And are the police arresting people? No.
Right.
No, they're not. The police last week said, we're outnumbered.
Right, so that is a key point. The police have said, Met Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley said, the laws created by Parliament are clear. There is no absolute power to ban protest. Therefore, there will be a protest this weekend. But the laws are also there to stop people brazenly supporting terrorism. So if people were to use a pro-Hamas banner or chant pro-Hamas a sentiment, that would be against the current law of this country, and the police should take action. That's a different
But it
issue,
isn't.
though.
But
No,
it is, but it's not being
No,
policed.
I understand.
It's not being policed.
I understand. So on that, I can agree with you. The police need to enforce the existing laws. However, there will be a
But
large...
they're not going to, because they're outnumbered.
No, but
they're outnumbered, so they're
you
not
and I
going
can
to.
agree that that's wrong, but that shouldn't mitigate the rights.
Well, don't you think that matters? Hang on, don't you think that matters?
No, it does matter.
That means that we have a rule of law, but it's not able to be policed. What's the point of having a law if you can't police it?
Well, I agree with you, but I also think that there are a large number of those protesters who genuinely are, in their eyes, protesting for peace, and they're pro-Palestinian, and they have a view in the way that
Well, I disagree with that. And I'll tell you one reason why. The crowds in question are 100 times larger than the number of people who came out when hundreds of thousands of people were being killed in Yemen. They are 100 times larger than the number of people who came out when Bashar al-Assad killed hundreds of thousands of people in Syria. Seems to me that the people in question only care if one side in the particular conflict happens to involve the Israelis.
But they're allowed
very
to.
excited.
But they're allowed to.
So I don't. Well, they're allowed to, absolutely, and we can make judgments about them. But I would not presume by any means that what you're talking about are pro-peace people. They're anti-Israeli. That's it.
Well, but they're allowed to be anti-Israeli. I think that's the point. They're not
Sure,
allowed.
they're allowed to be anti. If you're allowed to be, in that case, I suppose we have to allow people to be anti-other nations as well. I mean, Britain was founded at the same. Israel was founded in the same year, within the year of Pakistan. Maybe we should allow large protests of hundreds of thousands of people to go around the streets of London protesting that Pakistan doesn't have a right to exist or right to defend itself.
Well,
Maybe we should allow this. I don't think it's a good precedent whatsoever.
Hang on. I don't think you have a right to say that Israel doesn't exist. If you want the extermination of all people in Israel, that is a criminal offence. However, if you are literally, as I said...
Well, it doesn't seem to be a criminal offence, Piers. It doesn't seem to be a criminal offence.
You and I can agree on that.
I repeat,
I'm not disagreeing with you about...
We're clearly in a position where they're not policing the law.
No, I understand.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have all of these videos of people inciting violence on the streets.
But Douglas, you and I can agree that the police need to enforce existing law. There's no dispute between us on that, and they should be doing that a lot more. But we also, I think, have to surely look at the people who are genuinely there in a non-violent manner, of which there are many. These are massive protests. I think back to the protests, for example, against Donald Trump when he came to London, against America because he was the president. We allowed that to happen. I didn't necessarily agree with them, but we allowed them to happen. You know, I remember Madonna saying we should blow up the White House, a woman's march in Washington. Sure. That happened, and people accepted that.
Well, but here's a very important point on that, Piers. Madonna almost certainly, so far as I know, has no military capability behind her. So when Madonna says, "I'd like to blow up the White House," it's a piece of stupid rhetoric from a pop star. When you've just had the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust, and you have Hamas supporters and others marching through London calling for it to happen again, that does matter, because there is a capability. So there is a difference, isn't there?
Well, there is, but I don't think that all of these protesters are pro-Hamas.
And the difference is whether or not you have a large artillery behind.
Yeah, but you don't honestly think they're all pro-Hamas, these people?
Well, I think that anyone who, for instance, chants things like "from the river to the sea" is in fact...
Yes, but they're not all doing that.
Or is criminally ignorant. Oh, well, they are. I mean, there's masses of videos of them marching past Westminster Abbey last week saying exactly that.
Yeah, but they're not all doing
marching
it.
past the statue of Winston Churchill last
I've
week
watched the videos, and there are lots of people chanting and some who aren't.
Okay, well, here's a challenge.
This is the key right here.
Here's a challenge, Piers. If you decided to go on some kind of march, and in week one you discovered that you had the BNP along your side calling, for instance, for the murder of all black people, would you not wonder whether or not you should go on week two? Would you not drop out by about week three? I'd have thought so. I would.
That's a good question. And yes.
Pearson has nothing to say to that. Fantastic. I just kind of left that playing. The Muslims, they kill people who don't convert, and then they force the people who do to live repressed and simple lives. It's a fucking virus, this religion. And I feel like I can say that because I used to be a very extreme Christian, and I would have done anything that the Bible said and like followed it word for word. And so I get it why the people who are Muslims, they want to, force this religion on the world, because I can put myself in their headspace because I used to be radically religious. So I get it, and it's a great thing in life to feel like you have like existential purpose and there's a real plan to it all. So I get it, and I feel bad for the people who are actually the murderous, gross, disgusting people that is the extreme Muslim community. Might get taken down off of YouTube for this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I got another song for us. If I could paint the thoughts I have, give them to a world that lacks these feelings that keep me keeping faith. I'd give the entirety of humanity if I could. Visions of the future's bright and good, the one we want but not yet have understood. But the likelihood of this is seeming more and more obscured. Fucking highbrow art right there. I've been watching some Wes Anderson movies. Wes Anderson, my favorite director of all time by far. Absolutely love Wes Anderson movies. When I first started watching The Grand Budapest Hotel, which was the first Wes Anderson movie I watched, I was like, oh, this is definitely not for me. This is some weird, fruity, highbrow, strange type of style that I just definitely do not like. I want to watch war movies, you know? That's what I was thinking. But after I got through the whole thing, because after about a few minutes of it, I started to get it. And to this day, I fucking get it and I love it. I just love Wes Anderson movies. Because he makes reality seem so fun to be a part of. And to be a part of society especially. Super cool. And I would love to make a movie in the style of Wes Anderson and talk about the origins of religion and like go through history of all the subsequent problems that have come of it. It'd be so fucking fun. Cause then it would literally like wake people up, I think, and really work. But probably not, because I understand, man, when I'm like obliterated on mushrooms, religion makes so much sense to me. Like, I get it. I'm like, oh, like God, because right now I feel as if I'm talking to God, right? I think I'm just talking to my cerebral cortex, right? But it feels as if you're with another being that is all-knowing and loves you and has the plan for life. That's what it feels like when you're obliterated on mushrooms and you're talking with God. And so it totally makes sense. And also when you're there, you feel like something has created you. Like you're a created being when you're there. Like it doesn't make sense that you just kind of formed out of random chance. You go, there is something, whether it's a person, a being, or just a force that is beyond what we are, right? The force. I love that. The force has made us, right? People call it God. People refer to it as like a real person. And it makes so much sense why religions were made and why people believe it, right? Fuck. When I like wake up and I really see us for what we are, and then I hear people talking about God and religion and everything, I feel like so kind of sad for them. It's like, oh, you're so blind. You're so blind to reality. I just wish I could wake them up. But I would love to make a movie about that and like just kind of predict the future as well of what's going to happen. Kind of like when I saw The Joker back in 2019, I was like, oh shit, things are going to go to fucking hell because of this. Like, this is not the right movie to be putting out right now. There are way too many people that think they're the fucking Joker, you know? But anyhow, fuck. I am biased to my own bias. I realize. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I wish I could wake everybody up. The Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, the left, the right, the people who don't know anything. You know, I wish I could wake everybody up and we could just like see each other for who we are and love each other, and there wouldn't be any problems. No fetuses being destroyed and no mothers having to bear children that they don't like, and no Muslims killing people for fun and no other, badness. But who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You know what? I like the world the way it is. I like the fucking violence. I love the craziness. I love the fighting between the left and the right. I sometimes feel as if I wish I could fix the problems, but the problems are very entertaining and make the world interesting. And you know what? Likely it's a fucking simulation, and we programmed it to do this shit. And I probably asked for this. I want this, and I'm living it, baby, and I'm fucking enjoying it. I'm going to keep on pushing hard until the fucking day I reset. And it goes, beep, beep. You have just lived through the simulation of Neuralink. Wait in the limbo state until the next simulation is programmed. Beep, 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 beep. You are now entering the new simulation. Enjoy the birth canal. Bye, folks. This has been a fun podcast.